بهم وتابعيهم والملائكة المقربين وعباد الله الصالحين وعلينا معهم وفيهم إنه أكرم الأكرمين وأرحم الراحمين. تذكرنا بعض معاني قوله: زيادة المرء في دنياه نقصان، وربحه غير محض الخير خسران، في نسخة وكسبه غير محض الخير خسران، وكل وجدان حظ لا ثبات له، فإن معناه في التحقيق فقدان. يا عامرا لخراب الدار، ما تستطيع تعمر ما خرب من شان دارك هذه بحسب مقدراتك. هل تستطيع فيما خرب من العمر أن تعمره؟ لا إله إلا الله. يا عامرا لخراب الدهر مجتهدا بالله، هل لخراب العمر خسران؟ هل لخراب العمر عمران؟ فنسأل الله أن يعمر أعمارنا ويحسن ما يعمر به أعمار الصالحين من عباده، فإننا أمام هذه الحقائق التي يدخل بالمغالطة فيها والتلبيس عنها إبليس وجنده ليقودوا فكر الإنسان إلى كسب العصيان ودخول النيران. إنما يدعو حزبه ليكونوا من أصحاب السعير. والذي يجيء الإنسان سلوك السبيل إلى السعير، سلوك السبيل إلى النار، صفاء فكره وصحة إدراكه للمعاني والحقائق. فلذا يجتهد إبليس في التلبيس وأن لا تستقر هذه الحقائق في الذهن والفكر، ليمكن ويسهل قود ذلك الإنسان ويوجد سلس القياد إلى الفساد. أما إذا ثبتت هذه الحقائق والمعاني في ذهنه فيصعب ليه وإيقاعه في الغي وإبعاده عن سبيل الهدى، وأن يقنع بإيثار الفاني بدل الباقي والزائل بدل الدائم والحقير بدل الكبير. كيف يقنع بهذا؟ إذا عرف ما هو الكبير، ما هو الحقير، ما هو الدائم، ما هو الباقي، صعب. ولكن من دون ما يتمكن هذا الفهم في ذهنه هو سلس القياد، يغرى بأدنى لذة، بأدنى غرض للنفس، بأدنى ظهور، بأدنى شهرة، ويمشي ولا يبالي، يقع في المحذور ويغالط نفسه. لكن إذا ثبتت هذه الحقائق يصعب على إبليس أن يقودك، وإن كان شأنه التلبيس والتدليس. ولذا يقول: لا أقعدن لهم صراطك المستقيم، طريق القويم الحق الهادي، وبقعد عليه مشان يصرفهم عنه. هم الطرق المعوجة قد هم أصحابي فيها ويكفون، ولكن هو الكبير قال هم دول اللي يتعبونا، اللي يفهموا الحقيقة، اللي يدركوا. لهذا حتى ذكر بعض أرباب القلوب والبصائر عن إبليس: أسفوا على الذي تمكن في ذهنه خوف الخاتمة. يقول هذا يدرك الحين حقيقة، تتبطل كثير من وساوسنا وتلبسنا عليه، ما عاد بنقدر عليه. يقول: قصم ظهري إبليس، يقول: قصم ظهري الذي. نسأل الله حسن الخاتمة، نسألك لنا وللحاضرين وللسامعين وأحبابنا حسن الخاتمة، وللمؤمنين اللهم نسألك حسن الخاتمة عند الموت. قال: أقول متى يعجب هذا بعمله؟ من آخر الأسلحة أطلقها العجب ليحبط عمل الناس. وذا إذا يخاف الخاتمة كيف بيعجب؟ ما بيصدقنا. ما دام يخاف الخاتمة ما بتمكن من إلقاء العجب في باطنه وضميره. أخاف أنه قد فطن، أدرك الحقيقة. إذا أدرك الحقيقة يجي يصلح الخبيث، ما يقدر. والحق قال له: إن عبادي ليس لك عليهم سلطان. اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك الذين ليس للشيطان عليهم سلطان. يا عامرا لخراب الدار مجتهدا بالله هل لخراب العمر عمران. ولما عرض على نبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم أن يرفع سقف مسجده في آخر حياته فلم ير لذلك حاجة ملحة في العادل فقال الأمر أعجل من ذلك. تركه على هذه الآية حتى توفي صلى الله عليه وسلم. قال الأمر أعجل، يعني ورانا مهمات كبيرة نشتغل بها نديها، ما السقف طلع ولا نزل خلوه الآن ما لا منه ضرر ولا منه خطر ولا هناك مكسب من رفعه. قال الأمر أعجل، خلي السقف على ما هو عليه من جريد النخل قريب، ما هو مرتفع كثير. قلت نرفع السقف من جد. قال الأمر أعجل من ذلك صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. ومن أدرك للحقائق منه ومن أعرف بأعماق الشؤون والأحوال منه صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم في الخلق أجمعين. يا عامرا لخراب الدار مجتهدا بالله هل لخراب العمر عمران. وكان من أعظم مقاصدنا في هذه الاجتماعات وهذه الدورة أن ندرك عمر حظ ونصيب وثلة من هذا العمر. ما له عمار إلا بصرفه في طاعة الخلاق ورضاه فيما يحبه ويرضاه. هذا عمارة العمر، لأنه هذا الجزء الذي من عمرك صرفته في مرضاته ينفتح لك به رقم حساب فياض بالعطاء والثواب دائم مستمر. الله أكبر، هذه عمارة العمر. فما خسر عمره إلا من أضاع في غفلة، أما من أضاع في معصية فخسران الخسران والشقاء والعياذ بالله تعالى. ولكن مجرد إضاعته في غفلة خسران. يا عامرا لخراب الدهر مجتهدا بالله هل لخراب العمر عمران. فاعمر عمرك باغتنام ساعاته الفانيات فيما يوجب المثوبات الباقيات، والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا. ويا حريصا على الأموال تجمعها مسترسل وراء طبيعة إن انفردت بصاحبها أوقعته في القطيعة والشؤون الوضيعة، بل وأوصلته إلى الأمور الشنيعة. طبيعة لو كان لابن آدم واد من ذهب لابتغى إليه ثاني، ولو كان معه ثاني لابتغى إليه ثالث، ولا يملأ جوف ابن آدم إلا التراب. ويتوب الله على من تاب. يشير أيضا إلى أن من أجياد الناس أولي الألباب من يدرك الحقيقة فلا يكون وراء هذا السراب بهذا الميل والانسياب، بل يزهد ولا يكون له ميل إلا إلى ما يستعين به على الخير من الدنيا من وجهه الحلال، ومستقر في نفسه أن جوعا على طاعة خير من شبع على معصية، وأن عريا على تقوى خير من أثواب زينة على مخالفة للجبار. مستقر في ذهنه، فحينئذ لا يبقى معه رغبة ولا شهوة إلا لما أعانه على طاعة الله من مال حلال، نقدا كان أو ملبوسا أو مركوبا أو مسكنا حلال. وغير الحلال الجوع أحب إليه من الشبع، الظمأ أحب إليه من الري إذا مشى حلال. العري أحب إلي من الكسوة، الموت أحب إلي من الحياة، إذا ما تنال إلا بمعصية الله جل جلاله، فهو أزهد الناس فيها. فيصير بعقله كمثل العقل الحسي عند الناس، إذا مطلع على نوع ممتاز من الحلوى الفاخرة المصنوعة بعناية دس فيها سم، وذاك اطلع وتيقن أنه في وسطها سم، يحب الحلوى هذه ولا يزهد فيها؟ وليه ما يجي نشوف حالي، يقول حالي شلها لك، وداري إن إيش وسطها، ويزهد نهائيا فيها. فحالهم مع الحرام مثل هذا، يقول مهما كان مزخرف وزين إيش وراه وإيش فيه. فمهما كان محبوب للنفس، لكن العقل والإيمان غلب النفس وجعل النفس تابع، فمهما اشتهت النفس جاءت مرادات العقل ومقتضيات الإيمان فزهدته في هذا، فأعرض عنها إعراضا. سيدنا الشافعي يقول لو عرضت الدنيا برغيف في السوق، نودي عليها برغيف، قالت رغيف وش الله، لكنت أتقذرها. تقذرها ما اشتريتها، قال ما بشتريها برغيف، عندي رغيف ولا بعطيهم رغيف ولا نص رغيف في مقابل شرائها، أنا يعرف مغباتها. وكم اللي في زمانه من منهم يذكر مثل ذكره الآن ونحن في الدنيا؟ فايش صلحت بهم أموالهم الذين راحوا وراء كسب الأموال وقت الإمام الشافعي؟ ايش عملت بهم أموالهم؟ حتى ذكرهم في الدنيا اندرس انمحك، وذكرهم مرفوع، وعمله معمول، علمه معمول به، ونفعه ساري في البرية، بعد نحن في الدنيا استفاد هذا الفائدة كلها الآن. ألف وفوق 250 سنة وهو مستفيد هذه الفائدة كلها، والجماعة أصحاب الأموال والعاد استفادوا منها حتى 20 سنة بعده، ولا 10 سنين 15 سنة، روحوا وانتهت فائدة أموالهم وريحوا إلى حسابها إلى اليوم في حسابها. فمن الكسبان منهم ومن الرابح؟ ويا حريصا على الأموال تجمعها، ونسيت أن سرور المال أحزانه. اللي ركزوا مثلك على المال وأنفقوا نفيس أعمارهم وشريف قواهم وراء كسبه، كيف كانت نهاياته؟ كيف عاشوا في الدنيا أولا، ثم كيف كانت عاقبتهم من عند الموت وما بعده؟ ما تفكر فيما نازلهم من أحزان وهموم وغموم وأقدار وبلايا نالتهم في الدنيا قبل الآخرة، ثم انتقلوا إلى هذا. أنسيت أن سرور المال أحزان، ما سرك منه وهو من غير حله، أو من حل لغير مقصد صحيح، فيجلب لك أنواعا من الهم في حفظه وخوف نقصه وسرقته وأنواع الآفات عليه، وهذا يسلب منك كثيرا من صفاء الفكر الذي ممكن ترتقي به، ويأخذ منك كثيرا من نفائس العمر، فيفوتك خير كثير وأنت مع هذا الهم. كما قال الحكيم: موتي بجوهرة نادرة وفيها ميزة مميزة عن غيرها وأهديت له. فرح الملك به مع بعض وزراء، واحد من أهل الحكمة جالسين، قالوا: تروا كيف ترون هذا؟ ما مثلها، من يجيب بمثلها؟ وهذا غالية عظيمة. ما تقول يا حكيم؟ قال حزن وغم. ها؟ حزن وغم. قال أنت قبل أن تملكها ما يهمك إن فقدت أو سرقت أو كسرت، لكن بعدما تملكها لنا، وفي يوم تنكسر عليك وإلا تسرق تصاب بغم لأنه ما تحصل لها نظير مثلها، منين تجيب مثلها؟ سكت منه وأخذ الجوهرة وفرحان مدة وحصل عليها أن سقطت كسرت. حزين قال صدق الحكيم، وصدق ذاك الحكيم. لو ما دخلت في ملكنا ودرنا بها ما نحن كنا في سرور وأنس فرحانين. ثبتنا حريصا على الأموال تجمعها.
Bismillah, Habib said, they're sad because of them losing it. He said, oh, you who are greedy for wealth and you gather and through it you forget the highest goals. You forgot that this is a cause of sadness. Do you have anything other than what you have eaten and you've exhausted it, or you wore it so you wore it out? So what do you have from it? That which you're amassing, what benefit you have? If you didn't wear it, you didn't eat it, what do you have? You feel asked about it, and then you go. You will be judged for it, and you didn't benefit from it. La ilaha illallah. The one who wants above the world beyond what benefits him, the whole world will not suffice him. So someone who wants from the world only what suffices him, a little bit of it will suffice him. Anything will suffice him. And he said, anything will suffice him, and then let him go. So opening the doors to be deluded by the world and greedy for it, it's a trap. It's heedlessness, it's playing, it's this one wants politics, this one wants wealth and prestige, and this one vile images, and this one buy disgusting drinks, and were it not for their greed for it, it couldn't overcome them. However, by their greed, it made them, it enslaved them, and it used them for its own purposes, as its own armies. And he said they want to fight each other. They're ready to that. They want to change the religion. They're ready because wealth, power, and dunya has overcome their hearts. They do that. It comes that the head of every sin, it's narrated, the head of every sin is this. Love of the world is the head of every sin. We ask you, O our Lord, to gaze to our hearts and fill them with your love and love of your messenger, and remove from them every value for the world, every place for the creation that comes between us and you and realization and your true knowledge and your elect and your special love. And a pious and a pious person and someone who's sadiq, who's true, may be tested here and there. Though generally the world is made subservient for them and honors them, and it doesn't allow harm to befall them because their hearts, are with the real, and they use the world as it should be used, and they pay no attention to it. They do not turn to it, but rather just use it, and it is facilitated for them. So you who strives for wealth to amass them, did you forget that being happy about money is actually a sadness? It's a lot of many times. And he said to Sayyidatina Fatima about being in a position of leadership. It's a cause of sadness. And he said some of the presidents, our presidents and others, over 50 years, a short period of time in one nation, more than 17 presidents. And he said one of the presidents, during the time of that presidency of the other, they used him, they made him over the army and so on. And he said they used to do that for me. And he said, don't believe in this, don't rely on this. When I was the president, they used to treat me this way. And then after that, I was thrown out of the land. I was exiled, and then all of them died. One after another, died. And what is before them? And he said, all they'll have is a period of time that they were sincere for Allah. Everything else is just a responsibility. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? You'll be there questioning, judgment. So what is the meaning of presidency? What is the meaning of being the head? What is its real value? Allah. However, who comprehends this? Who understands this? And the Prophet ﷺ taught us, you will be greedy for leadership. And he said, it will be the one who's sincere, it will be a regret for them on Yawm al-Qiyamah, even for the sincere. Don't think anyone will give you truer counsel. No, excuse me. The one who gave true counsel said it would be a regret. This one was trusted by the Lord of the throne to give you sincere counsel, to clarify the truth to you. He does not speak of his own desire. Truth is what he says. He said, you will be greedy for being the leader, and it will be a regret for you on the day of resurrection. And he mentions one of his caliphs at the end of the time. His name is Imam al-Mahdi. He'll flee from it. And due to him, the nation will be saved. When they come and they want to give an oath of allegiance to him, he flees from them. He'll leave, they said, it's mentioned, he'll run from Mecca to Medina, running from being the leader. And then when he returns another time, and people are in difficulty and the Ummah needs him, the pious, the learned will say, this is him. This is the one through whom Allah will save the circumstance. And then they'll come and they'll say, either you stretch out your hand or we'll give you the sword. They'll force him to make the oath. Not this one who came and said, make me the leader out of greed for the leadership. He is the Khalifa. He has no desire for it. And he'll be placed in it. And Allah's Messenger gave us the measure for this. If you're asked for it, you'll be turned over to it. And if you're forced to do it, you're placed upon you, you'll be helped. And the Prophet ﷺ said, we do not give this authority to the one who asks for it. But rather, we understand from that, but the one who doesn't want it, one who doesn't want to be the emir. Look at most of the missions that he sent. He didn't send his family in specific, nor the great of those who were with him from the Sabiqeen. Many of the emirs, the leaders of the missions that he sent, there's others. They were the first, foremost, and he didn't place them in the position of authority many times. And they were from those who desired being the leader, but he didn't choose them. It was rare. It was rare he sent a mission and Abu Bakr or Omar was the leader. The last of the missions that he sent, Omar and Abu Bakr and Omar were from the regular soldiers that he placed in that Syria. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he loved them. He knew their value. And he loved what was best for them. However, no one is truer in goodwill than him. No one knows the realities better of all of creation than him. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So he says, may Allah be pleased with him, stop your heart, remove your heart from or prevent your heart from the world and its ornaments. Your enemy uses it against you. Do not allow him to trick that. Love your Lord. Love Muhammad sallallahu a love of him will make you keep his company on the day of resurrection, to enter with him the day of divine generosity, to be with him at his watering place, his hold. That's a beneficial love. Fill your heart with this love and remove or prevent it from that other love. Remove from your heart or prevent your heart from the dunya and its ornaments. Its purity is actually turbidity, and its relationship is actually alienation. And Imam al-Haddad, he did a dunya. He gave a poem before he learned Nahwa. He revealed the ornaments that Iblis tries to turn against us in that poem. Like someone who covers an old blind woman and with makeup and clothing and says, "This is beautiful. She's beautiful," and then it's like he stripped that veil, that covering. When Allah, so they said about Imam Haddad when he clarified the realities of the world, they said he disgraced. He revealed the reality of the dunya, just as the Prophet ﷺ did. He says, why rely, depend upon it, a realm, its reality is like a little, it's like a dream within dozing, or and it's nothing except a wretched place and a place of trials. Tyranny is what it's made of. Its end is death. It humiliates. It harms. The ego desires it. The eye watches it. It'll make you imagine that it's the truth, and in reality it has no truth. Allah created it so that he could distinguish between the two groups, those who are stupid and those who are intelligent. Someone goes from the Sham to Yemeni striving. Oh, you who is greedy for wealth and you try to amass it, don't you forget that the happiness of wealth is sadness. Said someone of wisdom will remove it from their hearts. And someone who strives for it will only find sadness and anxiety. Someone who reflects properly, he remembers those who built the buildings of the world. Someone amassed wealth, someone made himself a fortress. They did all of these things. Which of them lived? One was killed, one was imprisoned, one died suddenly, another one died in an accident, and another person died naturally. All of them in their palaces, though, they all died. The one who built the buildings so that could protect him from Allah's decree. And then after that, they brought him out of his palace, and then they found him hiding under a sewer, under a culvert, and then they killed him. Isn't this what happened? Isn't that what you saw? So then why delusion? Why be deluded? Why be tricked like this? This is the reality of what happened. Allah. They attained its honors. They elevated, they raised themselves over others. They made people their slaves until they defeated them and they amassed wealth. and they amass the precious things of the world
متعة النفس في مستقبل الزمن حتى إذا
in
امتلأ
order to enjoy of the lower self
من علاها أبلغ المكن ناداهم
until
هادما
they are full of what they had attained.
أو عبرة
The
الفطن
one who breaks all pleasures called them and they died. Those are the graves, and now they've decomposed there after they had these strong bodies and they're fat, and now they're consumed by worms beneath the earth and beneath bricks. And now their beautiful features, their eyes, their cheeks, and they left their homes to those that used to help them. And everyone who used to love them now finds them disgusting.
الكفن تلك
And
البسوط
all they have is the
أقرب
perfume for the funerals and shrouds. And now those palaces are in ruins.
بالوسن فلا تجملت بالأرياش مفتخرا
And if you were to observe them, you would not. If you were to see them, you would not enjoy them. And if you were to reflect about this, you would not find pleasure in homes and dunya. And if you had reflected, you would have seen it with the eye or heard it with the ear. He said, the gifts do not rescue those who are captured in a state of their state of sleep. If he sees the clear truth before him, he gives false wishes to his lower self. He says Allah's book is a sufficient admonition for him, as it comes in the hadith of the Sayyid Muhammad, the one who had a pure heart. From us to him prayers eternally, as long as the wind blows, rains, and makes ships move, as long as any eye remains longing for its homeland. Do you begin to see what the world is or not? Has it been revealed to you or not? This is what it is. There's nothing other than that. Don't let anyone trick you. Take yourself a path. Make a decision in your life. And do not seek other than the countenance of your Lord. Not by studying, not by an occupation, not by earning, not by anything. You seek his countenance. Follow his Sharia. Leave this idle speech of the East and the West. These people make claims that are far from the truth and make claims of education. They have no proof of it, outwardly or inwardly, other than that which would be a misfortune for people and what would be a cause of tricking and deluding people. Like a cloud on a, like a mirage on a plane. Someone thinks it's water and it comes and it's nothing. That's what the Prophet ﷺ taught. All of the heads on the surface of the earth with us, those who were arrogant and conceited and rejected the truth and were deluded by anything they had, of whether they're small or great, all of the heads will be humbled before this truth, and they'll know that this is the truth. On the day that the wrongdoer bites his hands and he said, if only I had taken a path with the messenger. None of them will say, if only I had taken a path with the president or a path with such and such governor. None of them will say. Everyone will wish that he were with the messenger at that point. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So now they're reading from the Hikam, and the reader said, with your chain that is connected, he said, so the Sheikh Ba'aratz, he said, when he finished the previous discussion, he began to speak about the realized knower of Allah. So he said, the knower of Allah is not the one who, when he gives an indication, he finds the real closer to him than his indication, but rather the knower of Allah is the one who has no indication due to his annihilation from his own existence and his being enfolded in his vision of the real. And that last part is my translation. It just says his vision, but without an object of his vision, but it's known. Allahu Akbar. He said, the knower of Allah, uh, he is the one who speaks about existence and indicates vision, and he has been enfolded in what he sees, and he has vanished because his indication itself is a veil. So this one is absent, and his existence vanished when the sons of knowledge rose on the horizons of ihsan, and beneath that manifestation all stations of faith are enfolded, all milestones of Islam, all stars and moons, they're enfolded, they vanish when the day rises. So someone who is realized in his essence or his being, his attributes, his actions, when the secrets of the beginninglessness manifest, where would his indication be? And how could he speak? And then he mentions some poetry about these knowers. And he said, and if you were beneath where they're at in knowledge, veiled or imprisoned in forms. And he said, so there are two indications, the true indication and the indication to the truth, to the real, through the real. And then an indication that's rejected and that's not accepted. And this is the indication of the creation, the indication of the creation to the creator. So then he said, may Allah be well pleased with him. And the Habib Omar's commenting, here the Imam Ibn Ata'illah is speaking, someone who's true in knowledge of Allah Jalla Jalaluh, he will rarely make indications, isharat of Allah, due to his immense etiquette, due to his annihilation, due to the greatness of his spiritual vision. So he will not find a sphere, an opportunity really for always making indications or to depend upon himself, his essence or his own phrase. He's overcome by vision of the real, Jalla Jalala wa Ta'ala fi ula, and he sees that this is the one who, the beneficent, the one who's making himself known, the one who's bringing those near, the one who's making himself known, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So due to this, his indications, his isharat or his spiritual illusions are few, because his self has been enfolded or vanished. He's lost eye, and he's known the reality of him. So then what does he indicate? What does he point to? These are when he is, they're transmissions from him to him, through him. So here he's clarifying the state of the knower of Allah. And other than the knower of Allah, you find him either making a false indication that was, or claims. So what is a false indication? And the word I'm translating is as ishara or illusion. He describes the truth by something in the creation, either their knowledge or their hearing or their sight or their ability. This is a false illusion. His ability, his power is not like that of the creation, nor hearing, nor his speech. That is a false illusion or indication, or he'll make an illusion that is a claim. And he said, I'm this and I'm that, and he makes claims. The knower of Allah doesn't do this.
عند العارف تفضل
The knower of Allah,
أكرم
there
سامح
is beneficence, there's
أعطى
generosity, there's munificence, there's pardon. Allah says there's gifts that we don't deserve. This is what they say. They don't have this meaning of
شعر بالحق
he all he has is directing through the real to the real. Nothing of the creation does he use to direct to the real. He says the knower of Allah is not the one who, when he gives an indication, he finds the real closer than his indication. The knower of Allah is the one who is present with, he is in vision. He has arrived. He is absent prior to even making an indication, prior to speaking. That's
يجد مع الإشارة
and he said prior to his arrival, or prior to those who arrive, or before. And below them are those who are traveling. He'll find what he indicates afterwards. So he said that the one who's arrived is below the knower of Allah. The one traveling, he talks about what and reflects on what he's traveling to. That's a traveler. And then there's those who are present, who have arrived. You find him with his indication. And he said, however, the knower of Allah, prior to his indication, he's present. He's in vision. He's humbled. He's surrendered. He's annihilated. The knower of Allah is not the one who gives an indication. He finds the real closer to him than his indication, but rather the knower of Allah is the one who finds Allah prior to any indication. Allah said, we're closer to them than the jugular vein due to his annihilation. The author says, due to his annihilation in his, through the awareness of, due to his annihilation in the presence of his Lord and his being enfolded in his vision. This one wants to, he wants candlelight to remain with sunlight. He said, when the sun rises, where is your candle? He said, when there's a great light that comes, the candlelight vanishes. He says, the creatures are like a candle and the real is like the sun. Where does the light of the candle compare to the light of the sun? Or where does it, how does it exist with the light of the sun? La ilaha illallah. And after that, in the sunlight, he's walking along a path saying, I'm taking light during the day with my candle. He said, you're heedless. None of its light shows. You're watching in the light. You're walking in sunlight. However, the one who's deluded by the light of his candle, he might be walking around in the sun holding his candle. And this is how most people are. He's the one who guides. He's the one who enriches. He's the one who gives. Jalla Jalalu. He says, due to his being enfolded in this vision, the commentator, he says, the knower of Allah, the realized. When you say the knower, that's the one who's intended, the one who speaks from awareness of Allah's existence and indicates due to vision. He speaks from the existence of Allah and indicates from the vision of the real. And in his vision, all creatures have been enfolded due to the sun of the divine essence being evident. So he doesn't see numerous numbers. He says his indications, that would show us the existence of others. But his indication, and he said that's clear that there's, said, say Allah, then leave them in their idle play. They said that person is distant from the station of annihilation or jama. That is where the knower of Allah is. And he said, how would he do this? And he's absent from his own existence, and he is enfolded from his own vision. He said, so Allah, who made them speak? Allah made us speak, the one who makes everything speak. So he speaks, the knower of Allah speaks through Allah. everyone speaks through Allah. However, one person is limited by his own abilities, his own language. This other one, the knower of Allah, the reality has been revealed, unveiled to him. He knows that it is not his tongue, nor his mind, nor anything that allows him to speak, but rather the will of the Creator. And he is the one who creates the letters and allows them to be spoken. He's the one who makes him speak. And he doesn't attain that until he attained the etiquette of Jama, and he filled it with obedience. So then he's surrounded by the select concern of Allah, divine concern, and he doesn't speak except through the real. And he does not speak except the truth. And when he's planted firmly in that, and the one who's greatest in that is the one who, and this is the Prophet about whom Allah said he does not speak from his desire, it is only revelation revealed. Allahumma salli wa sallam alayhi wa alayhi. So here he says, so the night of his deeds and all of its stars have vanished by the appearance of the sons of knowledge from the horizons of Ihsan. So Allah revealed them, lifted the veils from them, and they were annihilated in the Lord by a grace from him. And then beneath that, when that becomes evident, all of the stations of faith, the signs of Islam, they all vanish. The stars and the moons vanish when the day comes. So they see the one who has no beginning to his firstness. So where is their indication? And then after that, and this indication is speaking about one's spiritual taste. Speaking about that, there are those who may see what they are indicating prior to their saying it, because prior to their making the indication, they were already present. And then there are those who find what they're indicating along with their indication. These are the ones who have arrived. These are the children of the knowers of Allah, meaning those knowers who are children in their knowledge of Allah. And then there are those who find their indication they find what they're indicating after their indication. These are the travelers. They think, they reflect, and then they find what they are indicating. They haven't arrived yet, though. That these indications, they make clear everything that was hidden of words and concealed. The knowers of Allah are above that, their aspirations. They attained a station that's beyond any vision. And he said there are two types of indication, a true indication and a false indication. The true indication, the real indication, is indicating the real through the real. What does that mean? That what the meaning that Allah willed is all that they indicate. Not that we have anything. Our knowledge is not the knowledge of Allah. Our sight is not the sight of Allah. We do not compare him to anything that resembles the sight, the knowledge, the ability. All of these existed and originated in time. All of those are beneath the strength and the will of Allah. His will, his strength, his sight, his hearing are all above. Nothing resembles him. The second indication is the creation indicating the real. He is sublime above what they say. And he said those are affairs that relate to them and their appearances of their origination in time. Jalla Jalala wa Ta'ala fi ula. He's the beginning with no end, prior to there being any saying, how, any modality, any heavens, any earth, any humans, and he is as he always has been. Glory to him. And he's reading the next aphorism. So then the author said, hope is what coincides with work. Otherwise, it is wishing.
حديث على ما
right?
لا
Wishing is something unlikely or impossible, not hoping, anticipation, wishing. Raja versus umniya, and we seek refuge. He said that hope is a noble station from the stations of travelers and a praiseworthy state of the pious and the learned.
من انتهاك المحارم والتبذخ بالمآثم والتظاهر
And
من غير مبالاة بالجناب
there is a harmful, deluding state that resembles it called umniya, which is wishing.
الدنيا ولا
And
قطع
this is a deception for those who have no knowledge
الآخرة أحسن من ذلك
and those who have not attained noble character or elevated states.
وما شاكل ذلك
Through his ignorance, he imagines
وما
that
علم
hope
محل التكبيرات
that is praiseworthy and
الراحات
the good that is promised
لم ينعم في
is
ذلك
his false wishing
النعيم الأخروي والسرور السابق
that they take it,
وأن تمتلك
that the those who have no deeds
ذلك منك
make use of,
ما وعدك بذلك ووعده الحق
and that
امتثلته
they are promised by their evil commanding selves
الدنيا مثل
mercy or pardon
أن أرسل نظر الاعتبار
while they are committing crimes and plunging into sins,
الأزهار إلا
and
عند
they're soiled by sins
مر الأيام
and crimes
أوقات الأمطار
without caring
فإذا أصابها
about
وجله
the divine. So they don't do good deeds, and then they wish for forgiveness and mercy, and their evil commanding souls deceives them in that. That's empty hopes,
له ديدنا
wishing.
ما رجا صاحب الجهد
So they make so the divine is unimportant to them. They don't obeying the divine is unimportant, and they say, we hope that we will not be punished in this world, nor that our sustenance will stop.
ولم يعلم المغرور
And the various types of blessings
يرى الآخر
will be given to us,
يجازى
and will be given wellness. And they say, we hope that we'll have better than that in the hereafter. We're his servants. He'll give us the hereafter, just as he gave us the world.
الدنيا غير
This is their empty hopes. These are their wishings. These are their deluding, their false delusions.
سوف يرى
And they didn't know that the dunya is a place of
سوف
turbidities, and the hereafter is the place of rest and bliss.
أطلق الذم على قوم اغتروا بالأعراض الدنيوية
Typically, bliss is not given in this world of turbidity except for those who are not prepared, who are not going to receive
الدنيا
the bliss of the afterlife and the eternal happiness.
لنا
So in reality, hope
عليه وسلم
is
دع نفسه
to obey the command and refrain from the prohibition.
حيث
And
قال
we hope that he'll accept that from us and that he'll reward us for that with his true reward.
أحمق من أتبع نفسه هواها
And if only you obeyed and he accepted from you.
في وصف
So then
فهموا أن العطاء الدنيوي دفع عنهم ما سيحل بهم من العقاب وأليم العذاب
and then he mentions poetry and that meaning.
أموالا
And then he says, as for the one who is idle,
وقال
and then
سبحانه
he hopes,
عليهم خطأ
and that is not the hope of the one who worked hard.
وما
Without doubt, this person is deluded.
بالتي
And this person
تبين أن
has belittled the one, the subduer.
والرأي الحازم
Didn't he know that his delusion,
جل ذكره إلا من آمن وعمل
that this
صالحا
will be a cause of only a cause of regret and remorse?
ولم يثبت
Doesn't he see that the hereafter
أعمال
he will
الأهوال
be requited there? for his idleness.
بالأقوال والأعمال فبين لكل عامل جزاء ولكل
And
عامل
doesn't he see the one who rewards in this world is, or recompenses in this world is other than the one who requites in the hereafter? And Allah says,
إنسان
a
ومثل
person will not have except that which he strive for, and his striving will be seen, and then he will be recompensed
فعل
in the
المعروف
fullest way. So here is a good hope.
وصدق الخوف منك يا
We
حي.
ask Allah to give us good hopes and a true fear of you, O living, O eternal. So here the author is saying, hope coincides with good deeds. If you hope from him, you will draw near to him. You'll work to draw near him. You hope for his pleasure, then you'll work for his pleasure. You'll do what pleases him. You hope to know him.
هذا رجاء
Then you'll follow what he prescribed for you of the path to knowledge of him. This is a true hope. However, if you hope for his pleasure and then you do the things that displease him, you hope to know him and you make the forms of ignorance,
صاد عنه. هذا رجاء هذا
and you
أماني.
build the illusions that prevent you from him. These are false wishes.
يرجو حصول الثمر له
He said,
من دون أرض.
you hope to attain fruits. You hope to crops without land. What is that?
عنده ثمرة
You have land without crops. How's that? Oh, you're going to have crops without irrigation. What is this hope?
لكن
He said, I hoped for this.
من أساسه
He said, no, if you hope, where is the basis of hope? Get yourself land, plant your crops,
رجاء ما
irrigate. This is a real hope.
وإلا فهو أمنية.
He said, hope coincides with work. Otherwise, it's just wishing. I wish I had crops.
خمسة طوابق.
I hope that I'm going to have a 5-story house here that's great. Did you buy it? No. Did you build? No. He said,
بس هباء. المفروض
leave that.
الحمد
That
لله.
isn't hope. That is just dust in the wind. That's foolishness.
الرجاء ما
But
قال
through deeds, through efforts, that is hope.
شريك من مقامات
Hope is what coincides with deeds. Otherwise, it's just wishing. And that hope is a noble station.
الوصول.
Someone will not reach Allah except by true good hopes, true hopes.
شوفوا. هذا
Beneath the door of hope, I stood.
قصدي قبل المنية والرسول الكريم بابه.
So give me through my aim prior to death. And the Rasul is my door and I follow him. He's my rescuer and the rescue of everyone. So rescue me through him. Hope is a noble station of the pious. Allah, make us from them. Cast into our hearts your hope and sever our hopes from everyone other than you, so we don't hope for anyone other than you. And it is confused with a state of deluding and a harmful trait. It's called umniya. He said, beware of hopes, hopes of forgiveness, wishes of wishing for forgiveness made people leave the world bankrupt. And the Prophet ﷺ said, the one of wishing, he is a fool. He's the incompetent. He said, hope for Allah's gifts and expose yourself to them. Correct your hope in these, you're attending these gatherings, these works of this Dora. Hope for it of purification, a cleansing, nearness to the real, a connection to Muhammad. You hope for a spiritual state, fulfill their deeds and travel. The path is before you. And hope that is sound, Allah will never let that person down. And he said, you fulfill your responsibilities, your obligations. Allah will give you above what you hope. That's what he usually gives those who are true in hope. No one hopes him truly and then gives them just what they hope for. He gives them beyond what they hope for. No one is true in what he hopes except that Allah gives him beyond what he hopes for, greater than what he hopes for. This is Allah's sunnah. So how great it is to hope in your Lord and all of the barriers that are in front of you are insignificant if you seek refuge in Allah, the all-powerful, the Qawi.
على شيء ولا تساوي شيء لكن به
Without him, you could not overcome anything. You equal nothing. However, through him, everything is insignificant. Everything distant is brought near. Every difficulty is made easy. And their YouTube is cut off for a second. Inshallah, we'll come back quickly. So everything distant is brought near. Everything difficult is made easy.
السميع العليم ربنا قبله لا قبلها ثم تقبلنا السميع العليم
Everything distant is brought near. Everything difficult is made easy.
لكم مدريتنا ومدام تقارينا
I'm not back yet.
تراهم المناسك وقامت هذا إذن أنا يريد
And he said all of the results, and it states, "Oh Allah, give us the fruits in us and everyone who's looking, and show us how to worship. Surely you are the one who accepts repentance. You are the one who is merciful,
إنه ورجاء ما
and
رجاء
the one who takes idleness as his way
لا
and then has hopes.
فر الأرض
It's not the hope of the one who works hard.
وبذر
That's not like the one who
قال أنا كما ويريد
cultivates soil, brings seeds, and they say, I hope, and he hopes. This one worked and you didn't work. And he said, I'm a human like him. Aren't all humans, he said, not all humans are equal. One's in hell and one's in heaven. One's good, one's wicked.
مجنون
One's pious, one's wicked. One's got his reason and others insane. How could you believe all of them have the same reward? Their deeds are not the same.
على من يشاء من
They said, we're only humans like you. However, Allah favors those whom he wills of his servants. La ilaha illallah.
على من اغتروا بالأعراض الدنيوية خلف في رأس الكتاب
Allah, he criticized those who sought, those who were deluded by worldly chattels. And the Prophet ﷺ said, the wise person is the one who takes himself to account, and the fool is the one who follows his own caprice and wishes. In one of the narrations, he wishes, right? Amani versus hopes, raja. And those who were deluded, they believe that their wealth will fend from them the punishment of the hereafter. Where did Allah reveal that the one who has wealth will not be punished? What do they say? They say, we have more wealth and we're not going to be punished. Where did you learn that the one who has children and wealth will not be punished? Who said that? You got that from the bankrupt. They were bankrupt,
إيه؟
companions of the bankrupt.
لا ما إلا من آمن
And he
وعمل
said, being brought near to him and honor with him is not due to wealth and children. He said, those who believe and perform good deeds,
على العمل
those are recompensed in multiple and exponentially for their deeds.
محظور
So
من
do not believe the
النبي
hope of is the tricks,
فرجانا
meaning
عن
of the devil.
رجوع أحد
Oh Allah, fill our hearts with hope of you and sever our hopes from other than you, so that we don't hope in anyone other than you. And that is a dua the Prophet ﷺ taught Hassan.
ربي يغفر ويصفح ما قطعت الرجاء من ربي يغفر ويصفح ربي ما أعظمه من عامله بالصدق أفلح فالزم الصدق وادخل سوق الأرباح تربح قف على الباب واستفتحه بالصدق يفتح كم لربي نعم يعطي ويولي ويمنح من قطع خيرها لس صدر تفرح وتشرح ربي مدت كفي طالب العفو فاسمح ما لقلبي لا غيرك وجدواك ما اطمح تب علي فانت بالتوبة من العبد تفرح واشفي قلبي فقلبي بالمعاصي مجرح والقني وسط بحر الجود حتى اني اسبح ما لي الا انت ميزاني برجواك يرجح ما معي كد حتى اني كما الناس كداح وانت عالم بحالاتي وما هو لي اصلاح قد تقبضت بكمالي الى الغير ما اطمح والوسيله لي العبد الذي فيك ينصح سيد الرسل ذكراه للصادر تشرح خير خلقك ولار باب حضراتك تمدح ما ذكرته وانا في ضيق الا وروح به زمان المعوج يا نديمي تسمح هات لي راح ذكره علني منها قداح عبد له جود وافر ما بدا شاح عبد له في العلا مرقى وله منزله فياح يدعي القلب حبه بخت كان ذا صاح عبد له في العلا مرقى وله منزله فياح يدعي القلب حبه بخت كان ذا صاح روحوني بذكره فنني به تروح ثم صلوا على أحمد خير صالح وأصلح
وصلحنا به وتولنا به عنا به ثبتنا على دربه وسقينا من شربه واجعلنا في حزبه ويحمينا به من الآفات والعاهات ويفرج كروب أمته اجعلنا في أسعد أمته به وأبرك أمته على أمته وأنفع أمته لأمته وينفعنا بأمة عامة وبسطة خاصة وإن تدفع البل عنه ويبارك لنا في الإسلام والمسلمين والإيمان والمؤمنين والإحسان والمحسنين والمعرفة والعارفين ثبتنا أكمل الثبات رقينا أعلى مراتب الصدق مع والإنابة والإخبات وعلى مراتب رجائه الصادق القوي الصحيح وينقذ في قلوبنا رجاءه ويملأ قلوبنا برجائه ويقطع رجاءنا عمن سواه حتى نرجو واحد غيره ويملأ قلوبنا بخوفه وخشيته ويقطعها عن خوف غيره ويسلك بنا مسالك من ارتضى ويتبع في لطف وعافية وإلى حضرة النبي.
اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه. الفاتحة. اللهم صل وسلم
ربنا انفعنا
بما علمتنا رب علمنا الذي ينفعنا رب فقهنا وفقه أهلنا وقرابات لنا في ديننا مع أهل القطر أنثى والذكر رب وفقنا ووفقهم لما ترتضي قولا وفعلا وارزق الكل حلالا دائما وأخلا أتقياء علما نحظى بالخير ونكفى كل شر ربنا واصلح لنا كل الشؤون وأقر بالرضا واقض عنا ربنا كل الديون قبل أن تأتينا رسل المنون واغفر واستر أنت أكرم من ستر وصلاة الله تغشى المصطفى من إلى الحق دعانا بكتاب فيه للناس شفاء وعلى الآل الكرام الشرفاء وعلى الصحب المصابيح الغرر اللهم اهدنا بهداك واجعلنا ممن يسارع في رضاك وليا سواك ولا تجعلنا ممن خالف أمرك وعصاك وحسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. يا ربنا اعترفنا بأننا اقترفنا وأننا أسرفنا على لظى أشرفنا فتب علينا توبة تغسل لكل حوبة وآمن الروعات واغفر لوالدينا ربي ومولودينا والأهل والإخوان وسائر الخلان وكل ذي محبة أو جيرة والمسلمين أجمع آمين ربي اسمع فضلا وجودا منا لا باكتساب منا بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سول بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سول بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سول صلى وسلم ربي عليه وآله والصحب عداد طش السحب والحمد للإله في البدء والتناهي.
بسم الله. جنة القرب فيها ذل الروح بالعشية ذه مجالس بها